So, before we talk specifically about the energy of excitement, let's talk now about the idea of the belief system within your personality. Let us begin with the basics. You are an unbroken consciousness. You are one spirit. But when you choose to experience the idea of physical reality, then certain things have to be created in order for your spirit to have that experience. You must create what is called the physical personality. This is similar to the idea of when you want to go scuba diving, you must bring certain apparatus with you, such as a diving suit and a breathing apparatus and a mask to be able to see clearly underwater. So as a metaphor, there is your spirit hovering above physical reality, just like a diver would hover above the surface of the water, looking down into it, wondering, I wonder what's down there. And so the spirit, looking into physical reality, saying, I wonder what's down there, I think I'll go see, must then create the proper tools to be able to function down in physical reality vibration, which is a little bit lower than the spiritual level in frequency. Now, of course, from time to time, spirits can pay short visits to physical reality, but this is the same idea as simply jumping in the water without scuba equipment and holding your breath for a while before you come back up. But in order to really stay down there and explore for a long time, you have to have the breathing equipment, the proper equipment to be able to see and appreciate what is going on under the water or down in physical reality. And just as water is denser than air, the vibration of physical reality is, in a sense, denser or thicker than non-physical spirit reality. And just as you move more slowly in water than you do in air, things move a little bit more slowly in physical reality than they do in spirit, because the vibration is lower. The spirit must lower its frequency down into a slower vibration of time and space. And in order to explore time and space, physical reality for a long time, you must create the proper apparatus, that is, the body and the personality. So then, as you generate the idea of transforming into a body, you simultaneously then form, as the body grows, the concept of the structure called physical personality. And for the general theme that you know you are choosing to explore in physical reality, you will in a sense then choose generally the people that you will be with, your parents, and the general time of your birth, so that the frequency of physical reality at that moment will in a sense create an imprinting upon the body that generates a specific kind of personality. And this is the basis of the concepts that you call astrology and so forth, because what is happening is that when you physicalize, it's like crystallizing a moment in the totality of space-time, and that is like being able to read a general blueprint of the kind of personality structure you have frozen in order to explore the theme in physical life. In that sense, the personality is analogous to the idea of an ice crystal. It has a certain kind of beautiful form and structure. It has a pattern that can be understood and appreciated and read. Now, the unique thing about the personality, however, is that while it is, in a sense, frozen in one way, it is very fluid in another way. In order to explore physical reality, you must maintain the basic components of personality, which is thoughts and emotions and beliefs. But because you are never disconnected from the spirit that you have the ability to constantly rearrange the pattern of the ice crystal of your personality, to change the beliefs, the emotions, and the thoughts. So as long as you choose to remain physical, you will maintain the general framework of a personality, but you will constantly change the content of the framework. And the framework, once again, is beliefs, emotions, and thoughts and action in that sense, or behavior. The first level of the personality is beliefs. They are definitions that you are taught to believe are true about reality. It is very important how that is phrased. We are not saying that beliefs are true representations of reality. We are simply saying beliefs are what you have been taught to believe are true representations of reality. Without a belief or a definition of reality, you cannot experience physical reality. Conversely, everything that you do experience of physical reality stems from what you believe or define to be most true about physical reality. From this idea, you can clearly understand that if you want to change the experience of physical reality, what you need to do then is change the belief, change the definition you have of reality. Now, please understand that when we go into detail about how to change your definition and how to change your beliefs, we're talking about how to do this more consciously, because you're already doing this all the time. If you were not changing your beliefs and definitions all the time, you would not have an experience of time and space in physical reality. Nothing would seem to change at all. So you are really very, very rapidly, on an unconscious level, changing your definition of reality all the time in order to have a sense or an experience of continuity and motion and the change of time. And by bringing a certain aspect of this ability into more conscious awareness, it gives you more control as to exactly how to change those definitions and what kind of experience of physical reality to have. We will get to the idea more specifically of how to change definitions and beliefs in a moment. But first, let us go to the next component that creates physical personality, that is emotion. Emotion is literally energy in motion. And all emotions must come from beliefs. In other words, you have to have a belief about something before you can actually feel a certain way about that thing. If you don't have a definition of something, if you don't believe something to be true in a certain way, then you don't actually have a feeling about that thing, or not very much of one. So all of the feelings that you experience in life stem from a definition that exists within your personality first. And then, the third component is the idea of thoughts, your mental side. And so, all thoughts, in a sense, stem from the emotions, which stem from the beliefs. In some senses, thoughts can also generate more directly from beliefs as well, but they usually come through the emotional component at the same time. And this forms the triangular structure of the personality, which is belief, emotion, and thought patterns. All together, these three components then determine behavior, action. This is why you have a saying on your planet. You know who they are, you know who a person is, not so much by what they say, but by what they do. Because when a person just says something, you may be dealing with only really one or two, in a sense, of the components of the personality structure. You may be dealing with all three, but not in an active way. But when you see a person's behavior, you can know, without a doubt, that you are seeing the result of the activation, the engagement of all three personality components fully engaged, fully active. And then you can tell from your own behavior, your own actions, or someone else's behavior, someone else's actions, as to whether or not there is any imbalance or negativity in any of the three components of their personality. Since the triangle of personality is belief and emotion and thought patterns. The idea is that these three must be in perfect equilibrium, perfect balance. In a sense, you could use a metaphor and say that if there are negative beliefs and negative emotions and negative thought patterns, then in a sense, you could say that the triangle is reversed. And then you can learn to bring it back into balance with the ideas and techniques that we will be discussing this day. The reason that this is so important is as follows. If you are going to create the reality you prefer, if you are going to manifest your dreams, you must allow the physical personality to be in balance. That's one thing. You must create the beliefs, emotions, and thought patterns to be in a positive state of energy. And in order for these ideas, in a sense, to stay with you, for you to be able to use them, you must be in harmony with your spirit and in harmony with creation. What this means in simple language is you must be willing and able to love yourselves fully, unconditionally, and accept the unconditional love of all that is. Because no matter how many techniques we may teach you or how many tools we may share with you, none of them will really stick very strongly or have a strong effect if you do not harmonize with yourself and creation first by staying within a state of unconditional love. Anytime you move out of that vibration of loving yourself and receiving the love of creation, the tools will be less effective. The techniques may still work a little bit, but they will not be as powerful, they will not be as lasting. The reason that the tools are designed this way, to be more effective when you are in that state, is so the tools will always guide you back to that state where they work best. So all the tools and techniques contain a self-guidance system to bring you back into alignment, or perhaps more specifically, to make you want to go back into alignment so that they will work more powerfully. So the tools, in a sense, are functioning like the scuba diver's mask. When you are out of alignment with your self-love and the love of creation, it's like taking the mask off. Suddenly everything underwater looks murky and fuzzy and indistinct. It's harder to tell what direction you're going in because you cannot see the landmarks under the water as clearly. But when you put the vibration of love back into the equation, it's like putting the mask back on, and suddenly everything is sharp and clear and your path is well defined. Now suddenly it's not just things close up you can see. Now you can see the big picture. You can see and appreciate at a distance. So, when you are then using the techniques we are going to share and you find that they are not working so strongly, center yourself, get back into alignment, love yourself, receive the love of the infinite, stay in that space, and they will work just fine. When you stay in that state of love, you have a 100% guarantee from the infinite that these tools will work as advertised. The thing that is beautiful about creation is that guarantee never expires. It is forever.